Hi guys, over the past 2 months I was working on this spread and I finally got it absolutely right and it's really functioning unbelievably well. This is for the people who basically want to find out if there is a possibility of reunion and if they should actually go with their exes, what is going on in their heads, if this is a wise idea, etc., etc., etc. It kind of like will describe sort of the past situation that brought you to to brought this basically question what is currently going on in their heads and your heads, and also near and far future. So let me introduce you the cards that actually I picked. This took a while to find the right combination. So I'm calling the spread Cat Tarot Nose Spread. So you can only see it here. So the first actually card that I have is the Magician. The reason that I picked this one first, one is a number one in numerology. And when you have number one, this is basically beginning. Also, the Magician is a card of sort of starting on a new journey, just to see if you have all the tools available to go in this new relationship and if that can create this chemistry. And also because it's a number one, what are the thoughts on a new beginning? The second card I took here is a Temperance reversed. And it's purposely reversed because here it means merging two opposites, but here it means two opposites or two different kind of entities are not merged, which is basically what is bringing you to this question, because you really want to know why things didn't work out and what went wrong. Maybe that was not communicated to you, maybe you didn't communicate it, maybe you didn't even recognize it in you, but this is what went wrong. So this is a significator for the ladies. This is, and I took Queen of Wands. Please don't go into this horoscope signs. Frankly, I'm so tired of reading horoscope signs in cards, because like every card is like archetype, and this is like the sexy archetype that is like charging, and she wants her man, she wants her mate. This doesn't have to be necessarily a woman, so either you're man or female, this is basically who you are, and the other person is going to represent your partner. For the guys, it's going to be the awkward kind of things around, but also keep in mind, because I'm getting here energies not only for all of you who are actually listening to this, the subscribers that I'm connecting, but I'm also getting the energy of that one more person and all these exes that you're bringing to the table. So I need to kind of like find it more generic, so this can be switched. So you have to figure out if this person is more this or this, which one is you. Then we have Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is a communication cards and things being up in the air. Basically, simply I want to see over this timeline how the communication went and if that was the problem. Then we have another significator of that person. So I said like that they're interchangeable. You have to find out if that is like the guy you're inquiring about or if this is you. And again, I took a King of Wands, again, charisma, passion, because that's what we get attracted to. And obviously, if we are considering reunion or we are still thinking about somebody in the past, this is what is holding us basically captive in our thoughts. Then we have a card of Judgment. So this is card very difficult for many of people to understand. So we kind of like see the angel coming trumpeting, basically freedom, and everybody's kind of raising from the dead. So obviously this is talking about if our life was well lived, if we learned the lessons and what lessons we had to learn. So in this particular case is how that other party sees the past and sees basically how they contributed to the things that happened and what was going on in their head, right? Sometimes you get really surprised when you kind of feel you're the wrong one, and then you find out from them they feel they're the wrong one. And lastly, I took a Four of Wands, which kind of can be reunion, can be celebration, but keep in mind that many people are talking about this card as a marriage, which also can be, but in this particular case, significator here is what are the thoughts of reunion? Is reunion in the store, and even if it's wise. So basically we have this 7 cards, which is kind of like really spiritual number. Also, if you look the numbers, like 1 plus 14 is like 15, and 8, 23, 53, and 4, 57, it is 12, it's 3. It's like something with this yellow. 3 is connected to this yellow, and as you see, I kind of picked the yellows because this is kind of uplifting sun color, and I wanted to see what basically stands behind it. So this is the intro, guys. And so what I'm considering right now, every month to have that as well, or at the very least give it a try for Venus retrograde and see how it goes sign by sign. Okay, so this is enough for the intro, so let's start with reading. I just want to add that this spread is available for private reading, and in that case, like you really know who are the significators, we are going to assign to significators their birth date and their names, and we are going to be able to move forward with extremely specific energy. So for those of you who are wondering if the reunion is going to happen, or what you have to look for, what are the best words to use, etc. This is a great spread. And definitely you can ask when you're ordering that to be included in your reading or to be the feature of your reading, because then I can do it with tarot cards and I can do with Versibila cards, and we can go a few crosses just to make sure that we got all these finesses right. And again, for private reading, check my website, cattarot.ca, and I'm taking bookings right now. You have chunks of 20, 40, or 60 minutes, and I'm looking forward to actually hearing back from you. For now, let me start doing the sample readings so that way you can actually see what to expect. Thanks. Love you guys. Hi, Aries people. Let's see now what's the situation about any possible exes that want to mingle their way back to your heart. So let's see. So as we go, I'll be explaining each and every card again. So eventually we'll all get it. And then you'll tell me to shut up. But until then, I'll just give you a quick basic summary. So, okay, let's see. Exes for Aries for Venus retrograde. All right, the Magician, the first card, is basically the beginning, if there is a chemistry in this union, and also the current thoughts on a possible new start. So, the card pulled is 8 of Swords reversed, which is basically good news, which shows that maybe you have been blinded, maybe you feel stuck, maybe you felt that you guys had no solutions to the problem or to the situation, but now the blindfold is coming off, basically the bandages will go off. So if you really count all the swords, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, they're all outside of this person, which means she's not bound. This is meaning even better, that all of them are falling off and it's time to move on. So let's connect the dots when we get the cards. So this is first row is like actually showing the past and the issue. The Temperance, basically, I put reversed because obviously you didn't kind of like put two elements together. They didn't come together in alchemy. And so now I want to see what basically happened and why they fell apart. So the second one, for you guys, one of you felt it was too much work. It felt that you couldn't predict the next step that your partner is doing. It felt like, oh my gosh, this is too hard. I cannot carry on. Can I just do it in phases? Maybe it was just too much, maybe it was just like simple, kind of like you felt you're not getting enough. And you felt like you're coming to an end, like because this is a number 10, and it's a 10 is like sort of like, okay, where do I go from here? Do I see myself with this person? So one of you could have been like feeling those thoughts or thinking about it. So let's see about you guys. Like, let's see how you're being seen by that person. Wow, you're seen as a strength person. You're seen as a person who is in charge, who can kind of like really sweet talk yourself into anything. You're also basically being seen as sort of like more maybe powerful than they are. So how was the communication between you in the past? So this can mean two things. Either that you had like really nice romantic interludes, or that it was like a third person kicking in who kind of like had her thoughts to say, and she was like overwhelming your partner with emotion, or you two guys were sort of like having extremely emotional times together. So let's see what he really feels about himself or herself, if that's your partner. Well, it looks like he feels that there was no closure in the case. Like, right, we're all this in this kind of like position means like, well, we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, and like we are like really looking up to our world. Now your world is upside down, literally. So he feels like the whole thing threw him for the loop, which could be this feeling, right? And he feels like he doesn't have, like, you see, you have a lion, lady with a lion here. That's how he sees you. But here, the lion is upside down, which means he feels himself powerless. I don't know, was it you guys who were doing the leaving? And kind of like maybe it was a third party, just like you felt you had no choice? Or he was flirting with someone, or he was flirting with an idea that he wants somebody else. You know, of that like instead of you being like your forceful divas as you are, you're like literally kind of like sexy and going for what you want, that he wanted something different. He wanted, because this describes a woman who's like overly feminine. Like, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Like, I mean, this is like really beautiful on some women. And maybe it's like not so beautiful in your Aries. Like, your Aries are known to be like really charismatic, to kind of like charge and go forward, and to kind of like get your things without really like, I mean, beating around the bush. You kind of like are used to asking for things you want, and it's the way it should be, right? Now let's see the judgment. So these are things from the past that basically are now coming to basically quote unquote pass judgment. So let's see what it is. What's the verdict, right? Was it good or was it bad? So how does he see that, and how is the whole situation? Well, the situation was kind of like really weird because it sounds like you guys been going through things where maybe you would just shut down for a few days and maybe not talk to each other. Then maybe you would try to renew the communication, because right now this feels as if what you learn out of the this whole situation is that, you know, you did wise up. You did kind of find things that kind of work and things that didn't work, and sort of like you're just on the brink of maybe even communicating them. And the last card, Four of Wands, basically talks to me about celebrations or any possibility of any reconnection, reunion, and in which form between the two of you. So it is Knight of Swords, but it is inversed. So this is for the past, and it looks like, look, this is somebody really, really charging. And this is somebody not charging, but still going, looking this way instead of this way. And this is like a really strong, extremely powerful, and as you can tell by the swords, extremely sharp energy. So since this is in the past, this is to me telling me either about a breakup, or telling to take things slow, or telling me, because it's right next to Hermit and the World, that you are kind of like taking some time apart. This might not be a complete breakup, even though here being a 10, it might be a complete breakup. So it was one of these two options. And it could also be that with lots of harsh words involved, and that you maybe were going back and forth between harsh words and complete silence. But let's see how is basically the situation in the present. We have Four of Cups for any possible new beginning. Four of Cups inversed. To me, see basically what it shows here, that he has some stuff. So imagine somebody offers you wine. So you have like 1, 2, 3 glasses, and you're refusing all 3 glasses, and now you want to try something else. So the fourth one is appearing out of nowhere and giving it to you, and you're still wondering if you want it or not want it, right? So it's kind of like a little bit spoiled card, right? This way, everything kind of like is gone. Like everything that has been offered is no longer offered. People got fed up. This also can mean to me, what it means to me is that somebody took you for granted. And that, you know, People initially kind of get enchanted with the best qualities we have, but my gosh, it is so quick that they immediately kind of realize, oh, well, that should be just given to me. And you are kind of feeling this on your skin. And this, when this card shows up, that's what it means to me. So let's see, in the present, how is the feeling about this past relationship? What is the overall feeling? What went wrong? Well, this is intuition, and this is also secret. So could it be that it was some kind of secret? It was being held. It was like too much of a burden, either on one person, because you have this burden card over here, or that it was the secret, this third person. We will know. Okay, how does he see you currently? He sees you as the Fool inversed. He is still hoping or thinking that you're not moving ahead. So both hoping and thinking possibly, because he wants to kind of satisfy his own ego. Because this means, okay, I completely moved on, I left you behind, I shut the door, and I really don't care. I kind of like don't have any baggage, so you are out of my mind. Here it shows that he is not out of your mind and that he knows it. So this can also be a positive card for possible reunion, especially because it comes under strength. So basically it shows that, you know, you are aware of the consequences if you stick around. So let's see the communication present. King of Swords reversed. This could be a communication card, but if you guys are communicating, then it's like pretty harsh. It is like connected to this other person or connected to, right? It's definitely not romantic communication as you see it here. And it is kind of confusing because that's kind of like expectation. It's maybe something that you had in common. It was overly syrupy, and it's kind of like almost looks like going from water to basically air, from one extreme to another. And that's what happens when you break up, when you're kind of like stabilizing each other, right? It's like, you know, the pendulum initially swings really, really, really to the extreme on both sides until it kind of comes to the middle and kind of like sorts itself out. And it looks like this is what's happening. Communications is everything. And again, I again see the same thing. It's possible that it goes from everything to lots of harsh words to go to complete halt and to nothing. So how does he feel about himself? Well, check it out. He feels himself as a knight in the shining armor. So, well, that's a good news because he didn't finish the business with you. You're still in his thoughts. And he's feeling romantic. All right, so let's see how does he look back at the circumstances and what actually had to be learned about that. Well, it didn't bring him pleasure breaking up with you, that's for sure. And after basically the final, quote unquote, let's call it judgment, and being kind of withdrawn and trying to wise up, well, it looks like he did wise up. It really does. That this kind of brought him pinning for you, and you know, and this was a piercing kind of pain, lots of sleepless nights. You know, this boy is learning his lesson, or did learn his lesson, looks like. Well, this is present, this is right now the situation. So maybe because of that, now he's learning what he has lost. And he's basically, again, we have these two cups. So this guy or this woman you have is kind of very romantic type. You guys are passionate type. And I still don't see any wands jumping here. So let's see what's happening. Did you get loose? Did you get lost in this relationship? Into this kind of overly romantic woman? Because that's usually, for me, a honeymoon stage. And then it goes to, well, actually, yeah, Pentacles are the ultimate stage where you have like really long, deep, stable relationship. But this is basically when we're talking about reconciling, like I'm in cups and wands, are really important for me. And so I'm starting to see the cups here. So let's see how it continues. So how about thoughts about reunion at present? We're not there yet. You got another cup card, but this is like a King of Cups reversed. Well, we can be there, but this is still not, one of you is still not fully ready. And why? Because one of one of you is still losing yourself in thoughts that this person is somebody else. So if the guy, let's say down to our guy, like, and you're hoping he's going to bring roses to you every day, that's not going to happen. This is not the kind of a guy. So what this card tells me is like that one of you or both of you need to kind of like accept this person for who they are. And only then you'll be able, I see that's kind of connected. This other king is also reversed. So that's a lack of control over communication. And this is a lack of control over emotions. This to me can also indicate drinking or any kind of addictions. This can also indicate a person who is flirting around. So like, I mean, if he's in a flirty mood, coming up with this could mean that he can go and, let's say, help himself to heal his pain. But it's not going to heal his pain. If anything, it's going to make it worse. So let's see within the next month. So how are these new beginnings? Well, there are wands. Finally, we have some passion. This is friendly bickering. So now this is going from these harsh words to friendly debate. I actually don't mind this card at all. Some people consider that as an argument. I don't. I see people here engaging in a play. It's like almost like a play fight, where you're kind of like trying to figure out your strength and trying to see how far you go without harming somebody. So this to me is establishing boundaries. So the lesson would be that you guys, whatever was happening before, it was going back and forth without any boundary. So if the boundary for you is like, you know, I don't want you ever to swear, and he continues doing that, that means it's not going to work out. It's a drastic example, but like, you know what I mean. Like, if somebody's stepping on your boundaries, you cannot make it work. You can just try to fool yourself. So this basically is telling me that right now it's like sort of like the dawn of possibilities, like getting born here, but it would depend on setting healthy boundaries. Now let's see what would have to be built in order to glue. Wow, there you go. So obviously, you guys are having a chance. I'm seeing it here, really within this next month. And this is showing, look, you have to be intuitive and you have to be learning how to trust. And you absolutely have this potential for love. So what you need to glue, you basically need to kind of like merge your intuition and like kind of go into this blind trust. So how will he see you when this is happening within a month? Well, he will see you that you're willing to cooperate with him, that you're willing to come to the other side, and that you're willing to communicate. Swords are communication, right? We had the swords, harsh words here. We had swords that's like sort of inner communication with yourself, because it's in black, like all your thoughts are so dark, and like, I mean, literally, like it's like a weight inside of you. And here, look, the sky is getting gray, so it's not completely white, it's not blue, but you know, you are warm, you are sheltered, and like, you know, the best feature for me in this card is like watching the swords being stabbed in the boat. Just think about it. What do you think would happen if you put swords, if you pierce the boat with swords, right? The water would fill in, the emotion would overwhelm you. But here, this is not what's happening. In fact, with almost like small effort, they're being kind of like pushed through. They're still not in the safety. Like you see, the shore is in the distance. They're still not there. This is just showing intention. But the swords that are not basically breaking this whole kind of like fragile little kind of boat, this is telling me it's a highly spiritual thing. And that he sees her, if she comes back, she will really, she will have to know that she's coming to the better thing. So I guess some realization has been there, and I guess that's what this card was telling us. So let's see the communication within a month. Well, communication is 8, which is a good part. That communication is inverse, 8 of Pentacles. That's not that great. It shows that it will need lots of work, and it shows that looks like this is where you guys went wrong. Something was wrong in communication, and this is why this card came up. It said that you have to establish your boundaries. So I don't know if it was lots of fierce words, because it sounds that way, because you had King of Swords and then you had Wise Man, which goes to the quietness, and people go to a complete quiet after kind of like verbal abuse. So this needs work. This absolutely needs work. But here you're acknowledging this in you, and even if it was one party that started and both parties started to engage, and eventually it was like nobody won, right? You both lost, and that's what happened. All right, so let's see how he would see himself in a month's time. He would see himself as a Queen of Pentacles in reversed. So either that means actually two things also. That he is with somebody else for a very superficial reasons, sort of like for one night stands, because this is a reliable queen, this is unreliable queen, this is somebody overly interested in how she looks, and only about that, nothing else. Just like gifts and going out are important to person Queen of Wands this way. So either he sees himself as somebody who is going to be completely frivolous and waster, time waster, money waster, kind of indulge himself in non-productive things, or he's thinking to pick somebody up like that. Because obviously things which you need work, and he doesn't even know if they would actually come to any kind of fruition. So let's see, a month from now, how will this entire situation look like in the lessons? The Death card in reversed. So even in a month from now, he's still not going to heal, and you're not going to heal either, because like this card is a card of transformation, or is a card of refusing to kind of put things to rest. And it's interesting because it's now coming in combination with Judgment. This is telling me, especially after this card, that this is still going to be lingering in your head. So we are going, this is like within a month, the situation is still very, very present, and even more so. Because you know what they say, women immediately cry, and they are able to get in touch with their emotions. And within a month, like you are able to at least, focus and everything. But with guys, it's the opposite. They immediately start looking for good times. They immediately is kind of like derailing themselves. And then you get involved with a guy like that who just forgets to tell you something like that. And a month later, 2 months later, he's like devastated because he just learning what he lost, and it was ex-girlfriend, and now like there are 3 people involved, or even another woman in his thoughts. And that could be exactly the case here. It was somebody from the past as well, not necessarily the real woman. So this is basically telling me here that things still need to be emotionally resolved. As far as the reunion, voila, guys, it's absolutely a possibility of happening. So it looks like, okay, let me clarify what I see. And I'll be really honest with you. I can actually finish reading here and telling you, well, guys, good for you, Aries. You're going to get reunited. But you know what? I'm a bad reader, because I'll tell the truth, and I think that's what I owe you. This is a card of victory. Do you think that coming back together should be a victory? But then again, this is also a card of sex. And I guess it's kind of obvious why. First of all, it shouldn't be a victory. It is 6, so it is a card of something that has been existing previously, right? Victory is like building up so many things and then culminating in victory. So this obviously this person is from your past, and everything else indicates that. But then again, let me remind you, you need to work on your communication, and you need to work on setting your boundaries. Otherwise, you're going to cycle right back, because you were already to stage 9 and 8, and now you're going back to stage 6. So it could be a step retrograde, unless you really, really put your foot down and how things will work out, which I'm really hoping and crossing my fingers you will. So instead of finishing the reading here and kind of leaving you with a syrupy hope, and absolutely, yes, I see reunion if you want it. But let's see now the next line, if that reunion is going to be good for you, or there are still issues that you need to work on. So let's go in 2 months from now. So as far as like, the tools, right? See the Tower inversed. The Tower inverse says this is like a complete shakedown, and this is saying still some cleaning has to happen. So now we're talking again this Eight of Pentacles just on a much higher level. This is like major arcana. So this is saying in order for two of you to really make it work, to start this like new union, lots of really old things, lots of things that kind of worked before will have to be shaken down. So what other glue you need over here? Huh, interesting. Remember how I said I don't know what this was? Was this another person? Or was this just a romantic way of dealing? Well, now we have somebody not expressing emotions. So it's like almost, right, for somebody who is like romantic and sort of like that young boy who is like writing poetry to his girlfriend, to somebody who is writing rap to his girlfriend. I don't know, like somebody who's just absolutely missing the point, right? So this came right under the Another Cup card, which looks like it's just like kind of sort of like shakedown from the Tower, right? So when these people were falling and they were falling backwards, it sounds like this person kind of fell with it. So it could be that something will happen again to shake it down, which is again going to shake this romantic foundation that you were trying to build over here. So it's like you got together, everything was fine, and then, oh, holy smoke, we still have those issues. And those are the issues you're trying to bridge, and those are the issues how he looked, how he's seen you. He's seeing you as somebody who's willing to bridge these issues. So let me see if he saw you as the only person responsible to do it, because sometimes people do that. They don't see this as like a two-way street. You have to both come together. Okay. Yeah, he sees you as hesitant. He sees you that you're not putting all the things on the table, and it's possible that you're keeping some kind of secrets because he cannot read you anymore. Just imagine you're going through the forest, you're going through some kind of dark things, and only light is the moonlight. So you step on it and things are creaking and you're hearing noises. It's like overall scary experience. And it can be like really cold and can be really, unnerving, also disorienting. And that's how he feels. This is how he sees you. This could be like also his own feelings, that kind of like he doesn't know where he stands, or that he doesn't know where your relationship's at. So let's see the communication. Well, the communication is getting better. It's not King of Swords reversed, because this is fair. This is telling all the words, but telling them in a most brutal manner. You can tell them. So if somebody is to tell you that, let's say you are fat, they can say, you know what, you really gained too much weight. You probably would look much better if you just trim down a little bit. Or you can say, you know what, you really need to kind of find a way to get rid of that fat ass. So the difference in communication, that obviously communication is not going to help anyone, and in fact is going to kick your ass somewhere else. So now, Page of Swords is like also not the prime example of a good communication, but it's someone who is really playful, who basically wants to learn new things, and who sometimes make an error without thinking through the things. So somebody who really doesn't have a proper filter, but at the same time somebody who is like so good-minded, somebody who's like full of ideas, full of thoughts. Because look, the sword is looking one way and he's looking the other way. So this is like going in a store when people are not looking at you and they're walking out backwards and then bump into you. So that's what happens. Not somebody who wanted to harm you. It's somebody who's just a little bit, fluffy. So how he's going to see himself? He is going to see himself as someone who will have to make an important decision. So let's see what things from the past will still be evident. Yeah. Stuff from the past, again, look at decision, 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 they're all majors. this is also making a choice. In this deck, this Lover's card is like kind of very deceptive. I mean, in this card, it doesn't show the third person. In some of decks, it just really shows the third person. Here it shows the angel presiding. But this is sort of like decision. Do I want to be single? Do I want to be with somebody else? Or do I want to be with this person? And this is kind of 6, right, as this reunion card. So in this particular case, because it's a death reverse, I'm not willing to let go. Look, you have like, I have to wise up. I have to figure out what happened. Oh my gosh, I'm in so much pain. I'm in so much love. I have lost her, lost him. Oh my gosh, I still cannot forget him or her. And I would love to be lovers. So this is really clear to me that in this particular case, this means trying to get back together. And so let's see what's about this reunion. There you go. Lucky star. Guys, now I can say, yes, if you want this reunion, you're going to get it. Congratulations, Aries. Enjoy your month. Love you.